dear listeners. Welcome to Exposure.
We are back a second time with DJ Dalo,
DJ Duck, and DJ Ravioli. And our guest tonight
is Nate
Gusakov. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to let him take it away right now.
Many mountains. Oh, many mountains, many mountains. Do you still remember the smell of that hot sweat? Seems like so long ago. Those days were just as holy as these ones here. Hey, baby, don't you know? Oh, many mountains, many mountains. Lord, many mountains, many mountains. I've known you long enough, and I can see your demons coming. Sometimes before you do. And I know you well enough to know that when I see them coming, there's not much I can do. Oh, it's worth the climb. Oh, it's worth the climb. Yeah, I could show you just what sort of light you have shining inside you. Oh, it's so good. And I wish I could tell you how it feels to always have you by my side. Baby, it's so damn good. Oh, it's worth the climb. Oh, it's worth the climb. Did you see that wild one sailing the woods at the edge of the headlights? Maybe we both know this road. And maybe if God is good, we'll still be on it side by side when we're so damn old. Oh, it's worth the climb. Oh, it's worth the climb. Lord, it hurts to climb. Oh, it's worth the climb. Thank you very much. Should we just roll right into the next one? I want to introduce these good people over here playing. So I'm on the drum kit, the suitcase and gourd drum kit, basically. My brother, Mr. Will Gusakov. Feeding back. What is that? Weird. Whatever. On the bass, Mr. Jason Pappas, a good friend of mine. We used to play music long ago, and here we are doing it again. On the electric guitar, the former program director for WRUV. We're talking mid-70s, folks. Mr. Jim Carroll. Just had to throw that in there. And my dear friend singing some backup vocals with me here, Miss Scarlett Annie Nesson.
Hiya.
We're going to play one now that deserves a little bit of introduction. This song is called Song for Lewis. I wrote this after the Pulse nightclub shootings, actually. It's at the bottom of it, it's a song about how awful it is when humans do bad things to other humans. It's sort of as simple as that. It's about grief, it's about hatred, it's about meaning and the things we do for meaning that we probably shouldn't. All that. So, Song for Lewis. Do when there's no shoulder to cry on, and where do you go when there's no ground to lie on? There's a heartbeat, sunrise somewhere. The thing about meaning is it gives us such relief. About hatred, when you flip that beast over, the underbelly's only made of grief.
There's a heartbeat, there's a sunrise somewhere.
I don't know your name. How can I call to you for help? We both love something. We both love something. We both love something. I'm calling to you for help. There's a heartbeat. There's a sunrise somewhere. father came across that big ocean, so afraid of what he's left behind. Now so many can't get across that same ocean. No.
There's a heartbeat.
There's a sunrise.
There's a heartbeat. There's a sunrise somewhere.
Thank you, everybody. All right, well, we'll play one more with the full band here, or full band such as it is, and then we'll talk some words and stuff, and then I'll play some acoustic solo banjo stuff. This is another one off my latest EP, which is put out by Astrology Days Records. Shout out to those guys, and everybody except for Jason in this room played on that album. It's called Many Mountains, and this is called Coming Apart. Tighten up the mooring lines. I can't tell how hard it's gonna blow. Pour another glass of drowning wine. We'd better wait this out below. Lord, 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 I think I know you from another time. We were brothers not so long ago, before all these digital intravenous lines that try to feed us everything we know. No, no, no. Lover from lover, mother from child, Lord knows it's gonna take a while. When we're coming apart, head from the pillow, day from the dream, things just won't stay as they seem. When we're coming apart, your eyes up from the looking glass. You know nothing gold will stay. Be so careful what it is you ask. You only have today. Hey, hey, hey. Lover from lover, mother from child, Lord knows this gonna hurt a while. When we're coming apart, And from the pillow, a day from the dream, things just won't stay as they seem. When we're coming apart. Water flowing fast and the water flowing cold. We're all trying to step across. Some know just what sort of precious bundle that they hold. Some just think they're wandering and lost. Lover from lover, mother from child, Lord knows it's gonna take a while. When we're coming apart. Yeah, from the pillow, a day from the dream, things just won't stay as they seem. When we're coming apart. Thank you very much, guys.
Listeners, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Exposure on WRUV FM Burlington. We've got Nate Gusakov in the studio with us today, and super excited to be here. I think it's going to be a really, really fun time tonight.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
For anyone just tuning in, just in that set of songs, Nate, could you give us the names of those last three tracks?
Sure thing, yeah. So the first one was Many Mountains. That's the title track off my new EP. After that was one called Song for Lewis, and then the third one was called Coming Apart, and all three of those are on that new album.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm just curious real quick, how did you folks all come together to be in this place now? How'd you meet?
Question. Like in general, how do we end up playing
I
music
mean,
together,
yeah, just
or?
playing music together, yeah.
Well, Will on drums is my brother, so
Yep.
he has to be with me regardless. How did this all come about? Honestly, I think this particular group sort of came together, weirdly enough, via Night Fires, which is a theater solstice celebration that's been happening in Addison County every winter solstice for years and years, and at least four of the five of us have been in that over the years together.
Really?
We all live locally. Jason and I played music in a little band called Naughty Pine 15 years ago or 12 years ago or something like that. I don't know. How did we all come together? Basically, I wanted more musicians on some of my music and called the loveliest, most talented people who were nearby that I could. That's how it happened.
All right. Yeah.
Would you like to introduce those folks now?
Absolutely, yeah, I'll do it. I would be glad to. Will Gusakov on the drums, on the Suitcase drum kit. Mr. Jason Pappas playing the electric bass, holding it down. Mr. Jim Carroll on the electric guitar. And I got to say it again, former program director of WRUV. Every time I say that, Jim gives me a dirty eye.
Best station in the world.
That's right, best station in the world.
No better station, yeah.
And then singing vocals with me is my dear friend Scarlett Annie Nesson.
Thanks for going around with that. So I wanted to ask you, this is my favorite question. I love to ask people this who come on Exposure. How did you start playing music? Did you grow up in a musical family? Did you hate music until a certain age and then you started playing an instrument that really struck your fancy? Or what's your history with music?
Never have hated music. Definitely have turned away from it personally sometimes. Definitely grew up in a musical family. My dad, David Gusakov, I think he's the longest running member of the Vermont Symphony Orchestra, actually, a violin player, and also a bluegrass fiddler. And so he was always playing gigs around Vermont. So I definitely grew up kind of backstage and selling CDs and that kind of thing. And we sang rounds in the car, and then I didn't do any music till After high school, I did plays and theater and stuff, but that's what Dad did, so I turned away from it. And then when I was 20, I knew that I needed to get an instrument of some sort, because if I didn't start getting the music that was inside of me out, I was going to be real disappointed later on. And a banjo seemed like the most, I don't know, non-serious thing I could pick up, I guess. Turns out, joke's on me, because I've found a lot of depth and grief can come through the banjo, but at that point it seemed like a plunky, non-risky thing to do.
Sure. That's a great answer.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people, like you just said, you learned banjo once you turn 20. A lot of people, I feel like, will shy away from instruments once they become an adult because they don't think it's like easy to do. How do you feel that process was?
For me, it was crucial to wait. I mean, when I was 6, I think my folks made me do a year of piano and a year of violin, and it sucked. I didn't want to be doing it yet. And so it was critical, because by the time I picked up a banjo, it's not time yet. Sorry. No worries. There was no pressure whatsoever, and my rule for myself was I'm only going to pick it up and practice if it's fun. I'm not doing this in order to learn something, quote unquote. And then I spent a couple of years sort of living in cabins and not doing much, which was perfect. So I just smoked a bunch of pot and learned how to play the banjo, basically. but that was absolutely key, that it was just for fun and there was never any pressure. And without that, I don't think I would have stuck with it, weirdly enough. Yeah. And it's definitely not too late at age 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. On you go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How long do you think it took you before you felt like proficient with the instrument?
I'll let you know in a couple of years, man.
All right.
It was at least a few years before I played in front of people, and the first few years of doing that were excruciatingly awful. Just hated every minute of it. I was playing with a buddy in college who played guitar, and he's like, "No, come on, come out to the coffee house or whatever." And everybody's looking at me, and they're all thinking, "Oh man, it was horrible." So I don't know, somewhere 5 to 10 years, I think, before I began to get comfortable, and then maybe between 10 and 15, where I started to think, okay, at least I can play some music in front of people.
Right.
Now I'm 20 odd years in, and yeah, I'll tell you in a few years when I get there.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we hope you'll come back.
Glad to.
Do you remember the first gig that you played in front of people?
Yeah, it was at the place, Langdon Street Cafe in Montpelier, which is no longer, but it was a great little counterculture cafe. And I was at Sterling College, and my buddy Andy Webster played guitar, and he played out a bunch, and he was like, "Come on down, we've been working on these songs." And it was awful. I mean, I'm sure it was fine. It was great, but man, I felt like I was in the weirdest echo chamber of judgmental mirrors. It was.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Any comments from anyone else on? You can pass mics around or speak into the nearest mic.
I'm learning so much. This is great. It changes everything.
That's great. I think we can keep going with some music then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to do some solo things here. We haven't actually checked the acoustic banjo, so let's... How's that coming through over there? I have all sorts of dials and stuff here, so if you want more gain or anything, I can give it to you. All right.
Live music, folks.
This is, you know what? Now that I've done all that, this first one I'm going to do is just a cappella. We'll see if this works here. We'll see if this works. I wrote this for the Tiny Desk contest. Well, I didn't write it for the Tiny Desk contest, but last year, but I submitted it. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. This is called You Can Have. You can have. You'll find me up in the mountains. Ooh. have. You can have. You'll find me up in the mountains. Ooh, you can have. You can have. You'll find me up in the mountains. Ooh, you can have your gold and silver. You can have your fancy cars. You'll find me up in the mountains, singing to the stars. You can have. You can have. You'll find me up in the mountains. Ooh, you can have your social ladder. You can have your 9 to 5. You'll find me up in the mountains, happy just to be alive. You can have. You can have. You'll find me up in the mountains. There it is. In the mouth. Thank you. All that trouble to hook the looper up, it was worth it.
It's nice to know I live next to you up in the mountains.
That's right. Jim's my next door neighbor up in those same mountains. What do you know?
Looking at them same stars.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do a couple of covers. Most stuff's gonna be original, but this is a cover. This is by a band called Brown Bird, or a duo called Brown Bird, and it's called Devil Dancing. You won't find the devil dancing around your door, but I heard him in every sound that your fiddle implored. His voice called me out onto that killing floor. He struck me down to die, for to rise no more. But I will rise as a stronger I than I've ever been before. You won't find the devil dancing around my door. You drowned out his dreadful lies with the truth in your voice. You chased every demon from my guilty heart. They were dragging their claws on the walls of my veins, tearing me apart. Now I'll come home as a stronger I, with a stronger, honest heart. Still hear that devil's voice sometimes, but it's growing fainter with every night. It's mixing in with the sounds of existence, in its home next to the light. So lay your head down on my beating breast. It's rising and falling now with everything around. Thank you. Can I get a little more banjo in the monitor, please? And thank you. All right, well, play a couple of original things here. So I used to do some horse logging a little bit, not really proper like for a living or anything, but had some horses, pulled some logs, and this is about that. This is called Cherry Log. Come on, horse, it's just a little cherry log. Yeah, come on, horse, just a little cherry log. You can pull that all day. Well, that's a good team, 2 chords by noon. Yeah, that's a good team, 2 chords by noon all day. Oh, cherry log. Thank you. Seems important to say that the roots of the style of music I was just playing and the roots of this very instrument are all from Africa. So the banjo itself is absolutely an African descended instrument. There was the kora and there was the konting and there are a few others. There's actually one called the banza or the banja, go figure. And this style, clawhammer style, is really reminiscent of a lot of the styles that came right over on the slave ships, straight up. So a lot of what I'm doing here owes itself to the African diaspora, and it's important to say that. I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I think we can do maybe one more song and then it will be 7 p.m., which means top of the hour, which means public service announcement.
Awesome.
Yes, you have the wonderful duty of picking one to read.
Excellent.
And we've had some very strange ones read in the past, but you can pick your favorite or yeah.
I want Jim to read
Read
it,
it.
but we'll decide that when we get to all right, we'll do one more quick one here. Another instrumental that I wrote. This one's called Grapefruit Juice. fun stuff.
Yes.
right.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much. If you're just tuning in, listeners, you're listening to Exposure on WRUV FM Burlington. We've got Nate Gusakov in the studio with us today, and we're very excited to have him read a public service announcement for you.
All right. And while
Here's
we're
the-
getting this set up, can you tell us what those songs were for anyone that just recently tuned in?
Public service
A
announcement.
public service. Well, I gotta see if I can get my RUV voice back.
That's right.
We're gonna have our
So,
legacy
while
act
Jim's getting
read the
prepared,
PSA.
So that last one was grapefruit juice.
Are you taking vitamin D? Oh.
Actually, we've been. I think Jim's got the mic here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the former program director of WRUV to read a public service announcement, Mr. Jim Carroll.
Esquire.
Esquire.
I'll just sort of read the first one out of the book. This is very unusual. Feed your fish. Is the better fish that you bought 3 years ago still hanging on? Are you tempted to flush them down the toilet? Don't let your fish flounder. Go to your neighborhood PetSmart and snoop around until you find the freshest food for your floppy friend. Keep your hopes up. Better fish are low maintenance and high reward if you keep them healthy. Owning a fish has been proven to reduce anxiety and blood pressure, while boosting productivity, and Bubbly Buddy is far from an invasive roommate. Don't give up. Are there no invasive roommates at UVM, right? No. Friendly. Don't give up. Can you have a fish in your room at UVM? Are you allowed to? Oh yeah, we got one over here. We got a fish. Don't give up. You bought your better for a reason, and you deserve a fishy friend. This message is brought to you by committed pet owners here at WRUV 90.1 on your FM dial. Huh?
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Oh, sorry, that's yours, Dave?
Give me that.
Yeah.
That was worth the price of
That was
admission.
Interesting
Italian
PSA.
mobster.
Thank you.
Yeah, who was that?
It was Hebrew Pesci.
It's gefilte fish.
Happy
You
Purim,
keep asking if I
everyone.
wanted a better fish. I'm like, yeah, I want a better fish. I mean, what's wrong with my fish now? Why do I need a better fish?
It's
Well,
almost fish in season, really.
yeah.
They aren't exactly pets.
Is it better fishing season? All right, well, I'm gonna do a few more solo here, and then I'll bring my lovely, talented goofball friends back in. Well, here's another one I wrote. What do you know? So this one, there are very few songs in the world about turkey hunting. Like maybe 3 or maybe 2. I have done some YouTube research. It's a niche that's waiting to be filled. So here's the song about hunting turkeys, which is one of my favorite things to do in May in the state of Vermont. It's called Old Tom. Well, I hit the creek about 4:15. Old Tom waded across beneath the starry sky. You were still sleeping up on the ridge. Old Tom, gotta get to you before the morning light. Well, I seen you shimmer and I seen you shine, old Tom. I've seen you strut the world to life. But now I'm gonna try to take you down, Old Town, to feed my family with your life. Well, here he comes down a logging road, Old Town. I'm still as a stone, I got him now. Said, come on, bird, just a couple more yards, Old Town. Hang on, wait, where'd he go? Oh, man, he's gone. Oh, that Old Town. He's up and gone, yeah, Old Town. That's a true story, too.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, I still don't know. I still don't know where he went.
Lived another day.
He lived another day. That particular Old Tom did. Yes, he did. All right. Well, should I keep playing music? Do you guys want to talk more? What's shaking?
Let's do more music.
Great. All right. The way I've kind of planned it here is I'll do my whole solo thing in the middle, and then I'll bring everybody back in at the end. They're back there twiddling their thumbs and checking Twitter and stuff. No, that's not true. That's not true. They're attentively hanging out. Yeah. Come here. All right, well, this will be the other cover for me of the evening. So I can work. This is a Nick Drake song. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Nick Drake. He's worth being familiar with. Yeah, one of those. And this song, I heard it the first time. Actually, when I heard this recorded, his recording of it, I thought it was Fish, which was the weirdest thing because he's got drums and bass and piano behind him, and it's doing a real Fish-like thing. It's not. It's Nick Drake from the '70s in London, but it's called "I Could Have Been One of These Things First." We'll just start it all over again. Could have been a sailor, could have been a cook, a real life lover, could have been a book, could have been a signpost, could have been a clock, simple as a kettle, steady as a rock. I could be even here. I would be, I should be so near. Could have been one of these things first. Could have been your pillar, could have been your door, could have stayed beside you, could have stayed for more, could a statue could have been your friend. A whole long lifetime could have been the end. I could be yours, so true. I could be, I would be, through and through. Could have been one of these things first. Could have been a whistle, could have been a flute. A real life giver could have been a boot. Could have been a signpost, could have been a clock. Simple as a kettle, steady as a rock. I could be even here. I would be, I should be so near. Could have been one of these things first. Could have been one of these things first. Thank you.
Wow, that was. Nick Drake always makes me want to cry a little bit.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it's such a. I mean, he's got me through some tough times for
Totally.
sure.
Yep.
I had a phase where I was listening to the entirety of Pink Moon before I went to bed every night
Yep.
to just get me through. And
Yep.
yeah, pretty magic person.
Music. I can definitely identify with that. He has a way of making sadness like it's as real as it's ever been. He doesn't lighten it. However, it's got silver when he's singing it somehow in it.
Yeah.
He really gets me.
Yeah, and his music suits you. Really.
Yeah, sad and dark. That's my genre.
But, but your voice too is very fitting
Thank
for
you.
his range. Yeah. I think this might be a good opportunity to actually talk about some of your influences,
Sure.
as well as just like who you love, who you're listening to right now. But I always love to hear influences from people. And
Yeah. Gosh, so many. Greg Brown always comes to mind because he's got a deep voice and he writes folk songs. That's not true. That just his brand of honesty appeals to me in a good way. Some of my favorite music, and I guess I don't know if they count as influences, but I think they do because they've been around for a long time. They're all Vermont musicians. So like my buddy Michael Roberts, I don't know if you know him, he's from Brattleboro. Amazing, very fortunate to have a bunch of friends around Addison County who are making good living playing music. Maura Smiley and Aeneas Mitchell playing with Bonnie Light Horseman, and they're neighbors, but also when I put a Bonnie Light Horseman record on, I just want to listen to it over and over and over and over. So those guys are definitely in there, and especially influences because I can see them as people, and then I can also see what they create as artists, and so to be able to watch somebody do that and sort of know both sides of it just a little bit is really helpful. Mark Knopfler, just because I want to listen to everything he does. Morphine,
Yes.
absolutely. Oh gosh, I don't know. Now I'm on the spot because I'm like, wait, who do I can't forget?
It's
these
a hard
millions of
question.
genres that have influenced me, but there's a few anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. And would you say those have changed for you over the years as you've grown and changed as a musician? Are there people who've stuck with you the whole way, or some who have sort of fallen off?
Yeah, good question. I don't think any have fallen off because I've fallen out of love with the music. Like my original BMG order of 8 CDs, back in 1994 or whatever it was, like that's still some of my favorite music. Like U2, Octung Baby was on there, still one of the best ever. The Chronic was in there. And so I don't. I feel like most of the music that I've loved, I still love it just as much, and there are some that I will return to 8,000 times in a row, and some that I'll love, 3 times a year or something.
Yeah.
And Fish, I should say. Not that there's any influence in my musical playing, probably, but absolutely learned what music can be by listening to Fish. And Viper House. I don't know if anybody's going to know Viper House here, but that's another one. That's a Michael Chorney band. He's actually Michael Chorney is another local Vermont musician who's an influence and an inspiration for sure. I can talk all day about musicians.
No, that's such a good answer, and I think that you're not alone in being unable to put a number on these influences that you have. Almost everyone who's come through here has been like, I feel like I'm forgetting someone, and and I just love hearing it. And you can, some of them it's like, this musician really influenced me, but my music doesn't sound anything like theirs, which is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I find in terms of actual inspiration, the most inspiring people are those who are, obviously, but who are just blatantly themselves, like doing things that are weird and risky, and turns out it becomes iconic and normal. But when they first did it, it was weird and risky, and it's just because they were doing it. And just seeing people over and over like beat the drum of creative self-empowerment, regardless of feedback, that alone is pretty inspiring.
Right on.
Absolutely.
You certainly do them all justice, paying homage to them all. Right on. I'm a huge fan of the banjo. I think it's very cheeky and very charismatic instrument. And I wish everyone listening could see your electric banjo. It's beautiful. Never seen anything so gorgeous. You guys should have been here for this performance. But you mentioned that you had all of this, like you felt the music inside of you and you had to get it out. I know a lot of musicians talk about that, like feeling and that pain inside. When did you start writing your music?
That's a great question. Pretty much as soon as I picked up a banjo.
Right on.
Weirdly, actually, pretty much right away.
Amazing.
I think the first things I wrote were me stuff trying to get out. It was years and years and years before I could actually be like, oh, I have visualized this thing, and it's in my mind, and I'm going to take the necessary steps to now create it. That was a long way down the road, but immediately, without quite realizing it, that's what I began to do, just writing. And I performing is so weird. Often I've come to learn that these songs, they're kind of mostly for me in a funny, selfish way. Like, I do myself a pretty good jolt of therapy by expressing them and getting them out into the world, and once they're out, it's sort of like, oh, I already dealt with that, So, anyway.
Should we do a couple more songs?
Absolutely. Yeah, what's our time frame for having to shut down? So I want to make sure I leave room for the band here.
Yeah, we usually try and end around 7:45 to give extra time for cleanup and to get the DJ in, but we'll, we like to take things easy here.
Cool. All right, well, I'll do a couple more solo anyway. Well, we'll stick with the slow and quiet zone for a minute. This is another one that I wrote. Certainly did not write the words. This is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. A poem that I had to memorize in 3rd grade, and I wish everybody did. And my daughter, who's now 14, when she was a toddler, we used to have a kid's book of this poem and with beautiful illustrations, and we'd read it just about every night. And this melody started floating through my head after we would read it, and I'd be lying there waiting for her to go to sleep. Here it it is. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you. Well, I think we better get the band back up here.
All right.
What do you say, band?
Yeah.
You almost sung me to sleep.
Thank you.
What's that there?
You almost sung me to sleep there, Nate.
Oh,
Well, let's wake back up.
Wake it up.
I'm gonna switch banjos here.
What's that, Keith?
going home.
So while I'm switching banjos, I will also keep talking, because isn't that what the pros do? If any of you are local, or even if you're not, this Saturday night, Saturday, March 19th at Arts Riot here in Burlington, there's going to be a big old benefit show for Ukraine from 6 till whenever we're done, and there's a crazy lineup. A whole bunch of Burlington folks and Vermont musicians are playing. I will also be there. Please do show up. If you can't make it there, you can live stream it, I'm pretty darn sure. And either way, you can support Ukraine and the Ukrainian people in many, many ways. Yeah, Google support Ukraine, see what you can do. So, Going Home. This is one I wrote a few years ago. And And it started out as a kind of a love song to my creative self. I was totally immersed in the day job for a while and had a lot going on, and finally managed to carve out like 2 days to retreat, sort of music retreat. And late in the night of the second night, I was finally down wherever I wanted to be, away from daily life far enough, and sort of the muse, as it were, or some music started coming, and I was so glad to rekindle some connection to that part of myself that this song is what came out, and I realized that at least the way it started, it began as me writing to that part of myself, saying, don't put the coffee on yet, like hang with me a little bit, I miss you. And then it spirals outward into greater things from there.
Y'all ready?
Going home.
Coffee on. It's an hour yet till dawn. Let's just pretend to sleep. I don't want to lose the night to the burdens of the light. I have a dream to keep. I should be going home eventually. Well, like the chaos in the word, like a holy little bird, I want you near to me. There's a hollow in my eye, it's a February sky, please won't you comfort me? Can we be going home eventually? The air you breathe, the corn you grind, circles endless in your mind. Is this how it's supposed to be? All the green and all the blue, gone to bombs and gone to fumes. This does not have to be. We'll all be going home eventually.
Thank you. And thank you, gentlemen.
Listeners, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Exposure on WRUV FM Burlington. Again, we've got Nate, Gusakov, and band in the house right now, and they're blowing our mind a little bit. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I would say that for sure.
Oh, shit. Thanks.
Yeah, this is so great. I do want to throw in, we have some sort of silly questions that we like to ask people when they come in here. And we've run out of time almost every time so far, so I'm going to butt in right now and ask these questions. My favorite one is, what is your favorite smell? And I would love to hear an answer from everyone in the band.
Wow. Anybody want to go first?
That's a good question, right?
The smell of sun on skin.
All right. Will, my brother, says the smell of sun on skin.
So poetic.
That's good.
Jason? Got good old ginkgo trees in Burlington, downtown.
All right. Ginkgo trees in
Good.
Burlington.
Okay.
Jim?
Oil and sap.
Oh, yeah. Oil and sap. That's a no-brainer.
Or fish, either way.
Boiling fish.
Boiling fish or sap.
You and them fish.
That's it.
Amy? What's your favorite smell? Just as long as
Chicken simmering in red wine.
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
don't think I've ever experienced that.
You know, the one that comes to mind for me at the moment is really, really high quality ganja.
Yeah.
Really, really stinky. Like, terpenes up the wazoo.
Not the first person to say that on this show. Are you surprised?
Jesus, man.
Wow, man.
I mean,
I'll meet you
All
after
of them
date.
together.
I had to pick one. So.
The FCC are on the way, right?
Yes, they've been alerted.
Aw, that's legal.
Federal Cannabis
legal.
Yeah, I think
Commission.
so. But those folks in the FCC, they probably don't realize that.
Oh, well, they should try it. They'll come around. All right, we're going to play one called Hazelwood, which I wrote. Actually, Jason, I wrote this when you and I were playing music together a long time ago. You guys ready? Or you wilt you look beyond, ignore you dancing in my private heaven. Now you have become a mole. And at the bottom I'm shaking, my cold mind belly aching. My home is built on quaking ground and pain is prayer once more. And slowly as the stories die, lose the rhythm of the ride. And who can walk around dry-eyed today? I will play the foolish part, I won't turn from my wounded heart. I'll lie close to the ground and I will pray. Well, it's a lonely ship I'm sailing and the winds are made of failure, but I'll keep on bailing tears out cause I still don't trust the shore. Maybe my time has come for drowning, I'm swinging back around again. I'm diving down into the dark to rise again once more. And slowly as the stories die, lose the rhythm of the ride. And who can walk around dry today? I will play the foolish part, I won't turn from my wounded heart. I'll lie close to the ground and I will pray.
And slowly as the stories die, lose the rhythm of the ride. And who can walk around eye-eyed today? I will play the foolish part. I won't turn from my wounded heart. I'll lie close to the ground and I will pray. Thank you.
All right, real quick before we get to our final song, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to plug any social media, streaming, upcoming shows, any music, etc.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, so again, the upcoming show I want to plug is the Benefit for Ukraine at Arts Riot on Saturday night, March 19th, 6 to 8. Yeah, Father Figure and Barbacoa and Lowell Thompson and Maura Smiley and so many great local acts are going to be playing. You can find my stuff on Instagram at Nate Gusakov Music. That's the platform that I keep up on the most, probably. I'm there on Facebook. I'm there on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and Amazon and all that as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all the plugging I got to plug.
All right, you heard it here, folks.
Anyone else?
Yeah, you guys want to plug anything?
Open airwaves.
And thank you to you guys. Thank you to all of the DJs and the sound people. And I'm not good enough with names to remember all your names right now. I apologize, but appreciate you guys having us into the studio. It's been fun.
Of course.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we got one more. This is yet one more that I wrote. It's called Dark the Night. This is the last song on that new album. Just a good old breakup song, you know. Really write a prayer for this one. I don't know what to say. I'd say the world's full of shit and edges, some other half-baked cliche. But I do know that the water flows regardless of the light. As bright the blinding day can be, darling, so can dark the night. A few years on, I still was silent, just stumbling on my way. Each time that I said nothing, it got harder to think of what to say. We were two birds in a rainstorm, neither black and neither white, remarking on the songs we heard and the darkness of the night.
Well, you've made your peace without me, and I guess I've done the same. You know, I've finally found the reasons. Lord knows I'll take the blame. Well, time flows like a river, sometimes still and sometimes churning wide. I row my little boat along through the darkness of the night. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for being here. Any closing words before we say goodbye?
Slava Ukraini.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to the whole band for being here, and to our exposure crew. We have a great group of people. I know that this is not a visual medium, so you can't actually see what's going on, but if you're listening, I do want you to know that we have an amazing crew of people here.
I think the guys with the cameras take offense to that.
Well, but they're not seeing it live.
Okay,
You know what I
fair
mean.
They will be seeing it.
They will. You
Thank you
can
so
see
much.
it. We are filming some of our exposure performances. But yeah, we have an amazing crew of people here, and yeah, thanks to everyone. Have a good night, everyone. Peace
Good
and
night,
love.
good night, good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks.